Hello and namaste. Today in this video we are going to discuss about simple past tense, past perfect tense, past perfect continuous tense and relative clauses. First, let us understand simple past tense. The structure of simple past tense is subject plus be2 plus object. Simple past tense is used to describe the actions that happened in the past time. For example, he came here yesterday. He moved to Kathmandu last month. He arrived in time. Now, past perfect tense. Structure of past perfect tense is subject plus had plus be3 plus object. Past perfect tense is used to show the occurrence of two past actions in a sequence in which one action had already completed before another action started. This tense is generally used with the time clauses like when, after, before, by the time, as soon as, etc. For example, when the doctor came, the patient had already died. He met me after his father had gone away. By the time we reached home, it had been dark. यहाँ बुझ्नु पर्ने कुरा के छ भने पास्ट टेन्समा कुनै काम गर्दाखेरि त्यो पास्ट समयमा कुनै घटना अलरेडी सकिएको छ, विगतको समयमा कुनै घटना अलरेडी सकिएको छ भने त्यस्तो अवस्थामा हामी पास्ट पर्फेक्ट टेन्सको प्रयोग गर्छौं। फर एक्जाम्पल, he had completed his homework before he went out to play. विगतमा उले काम गरेको चाहिँ खेल्न गयो भन्ने हो र खेल्न जानु भन्दा अगाडि नै उसले के गरिसकेको छ, एउटा काम सकाइसकेको छ। त्यो काम के हो भन्दाखेरि उसले आफ्नो गृह कार्य गर्ने काम सकाइसकेको छ। सो he went out to play past tense हो। त्यो भन्दा अगाडि नै एउटा काम सकिसकेको छ, पास्ट भन्दा अगाडि नै सकिसकेको काम चाहिँ he had completed his homework हो, गृह कार्य सकाइसकेको भन्ने हो। पास्टमा पनि कुनै काम सकिसकेको छ भने हामीले पास्ट पर्फेक्ट टेन्स प्रयोग गर्नुपर्ने रहेछ। Now here is an exercise for you. Number 1, have similar conversations as in the example given below. Example, person A says her husband was horrified when she came back from the hairdressers. Person number B says, why, what had happened, or why, what had they done? A replies, well, they had cut her hair really short and they had dyed it a kind of purple color. यहाँ बुझ्नुपर्ने कुरा के छ भने अन्तिममा एले जवाफ फर्काउँदाखेरि दुईटा रिजन दिएको छ र दुईटै रिजनमा had plus b3 स्ट्रक्चर युज गरेको छ, अर्थात् पास्ट पर्फेक्ट युज गरेको छ। Now similarly write answers of the given questions. Number 1, when I saw him 2 years later, I could hardly recognize him. यसको एन्सर तल नमुना स्वरूप लेखेर दिएको छ। अब बाँकी प्रश्नहरुको उत्तर आफै दिने कोसिस गर्नु होला। Question number 2, they sent both men to prison for 20 years. The fireman received a medal for bravery. It was a good thing I checked my bill before I paid it. When my sister came home, she was crying her eyes out. I got a very angry letter from my bank manager last Monday. My new trousers were ruined when they came out of the washing machine. They came back from their holiday feeling completely refreshed. Now let us see two different tenses, that is past perfect tense and past perfect continuous tense. हामीले past perfect tense को बारेमा अघि भर्खरै धेरै कुराकानी गरिसक्यौं। So let us move towards past perfect continuous tense. Past perfect continuous tense represents an ongoing action that is started and continued for some time in the past. To indicate time reference, for and since are used, and it describes when the action started and how long it continued in the past. Structure of past perfect continuous tense is subject plus had been plus before plus object. For example, they had been playing hockey on that field for 3 hours. The poet had been writing romantic poems since morning. Now exercise number 2. Talk about the people below as shown in the example. Example, Sally was desperate. Now person A says Sally was desperate. B replies, she had been drifting on the sea for 5 days. And C says she had used up all her water. Now be careful, person B uses past perfect continuous tense, whereas person C uses past perfect tense. You too also make conversation in the same way. Here are some questions. Number 1. Eventually Richard found a job that suited him. Number 2. When the Johnsons eventually got away on holiday, they felt they really deserved it. Number 3. By the time the climbers reached the top of the mountain, they were exhausted. Number 4. It was hardly surprising that Anthony fainted. Number 5. Vivian sighed with relief. Now let us understand about relative clauses. Relative clauses are non-essential parts of a sentence. They may add meaning, but if they are removed, the sentence will still function grammatically. There are two broad types of relative clauses in English. They are defining relative clause and non-defining relative clause. It is important to distinguish between them because it affects the choice of pronoun used to introduce the clause. So first, defining relative clause. A defining or identifying clause tells us which specific person or thing we are talking about in a larger group of people or things. If a defining relative clause is removed, the meaning of the sentence changes significantly. A defining relative clause is not separated from the rest of the sentence by commas or parentheses. For example, he gave me the letter which was in a blue envelope, or he gave me the letter that was in a blue envelope. The meaning of this sentence is there were several letters of different colors and he gave me the blue one. Now let's see non-defining relative clause. A non-defining relative clause or non-essential clause gives us more information about the person or thing we are talking about. If a non-defining relative clause is removed from a sentence, we lose some detail, but the overall meaning of the sentence remains the same. Non-defining relative clauses are always set off from the rest of the sentence with commas or parentheses. For example, he gave me the letter which was in a blue envelope. This refers there was only one letter and it happened to be the blue one. Now, here is an exercise for you. Number 3. Find out whether the following relative clauses are defining or non-defining. Number A. London, which is the capital of England, is one of the largest cities in the world. Number B. This is the dress my mother has made for me. Number C. Queen Elizabeth II, who is 83 years old, has been the Queen of England for 75 years now. Number D. That's the dog that bite me. Number E. Tom Cruise, who had starred a lot of films, is a famous American actor. Number F. The village where I grew up is very small. Number G. Greg, whose job involves traveling a lot, has been in nearly all the countries in the world. Number H. The office I have just rented is near my home. Number I. This is the officer that arrested the burglar. Number J. Lady Gaga, who is a well-known pop star, is only 24. तपाईहरुले के बुझ्नुपर्छ भने नन डिफाइनिङ रिलेटिभ क्लज लागेर बनेको सेन्टेन्समा एउटा अथवा दुईटा कमा प्रयोग हुन्छ भने डिफाइनिङ रिलेटिभ क्लजमा रिलेटिभ वर्ड सँगै कमा प्रयोग हुँदैन. Here are the answers of the given questions. Now check your answers yourself. Keep in mind, non-defining relative clause is separated by either single comma or double comma. Example, their garden, which is near here, looks beautiful. I gave it to Peter, who is my close friend. Defining relative clauses do not contain any commas. For example, this is the book which I wanted. The bike she borrowed belongs to me. Again, here is an exercise for you. Number 4. Join the following sentences using a relative clause. Number A. I saw her at the gate. A man was lying there. Number B. There is a woman living next door. She is a doctor. Number C. The woman is wearing a red sari. She is my English teacher. Number D. Mr. Subedi never missed any classes. Mr. Subedi's students always score excellent marks. Number E. Champa installed a solar plant. She paid rupees 20,000 for it. Now, tally your answers with the answers given here in the video. This much for today. Wish you a wonderful time. Stay home, stay safe.
One can touch me now. I'm just flying by. Yeah, I'm just flying by.